Hey guys, this is Drew with Studio 28 Productions. We're here for part 2 of our mixing a song from start to finish. So let's hop into Logic and start the video that you came here for. Alright, so if you remember from last week, we set all of our volume faders and our panning positions. This week, we're going to be doing top-down mixing, and we're going to start with the stereo out channel, and this is going to be the entire song. So I'm going to start here with a little bit of saturation. This is going to be our Chroma Glow, and then Universal Audio, the SSL, the 4KE channel strip. And then the third one that we're going to do is also from Universal Audio, the SSL bus compressor. I love these. So we're going to start with our saturation. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Right beside me every step of the way. I like the harmonics that this is adding, but I don't necessarily like the volume of how saturated it sounds. So we're going to dial this mix knob back. So what's cool about this plugin is you can actually dial in how much harmonics you want in your saturated sound. And then, so instead of, using this as a mix knob per se, you set how much saturation you actually want in there, and then you can dial this in. So if I like, 100%. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. And you can dial the mix knob back this way. I think I had that set to 57. Right beside me every step of the way. So I like how much saturation is there, but I don't like how loud it is, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use the mix knob and dial it back this way. So I still have all those harmonics in there to some degree, but it's not as noticeable, if that makes sense. Whereas this, if I was to dial this back, then you're losing some of those harmonics. Where if you dial the mix back, you still have those there, it's just not as loud. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I like that right there. Let's take a look at some EQ. And again, this is over the entire song. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? So how I've got this set, if we look at our high frequencies, I've got this set where it's just a dB or so boost at a shelf at roughly 12K. Our high mid frequencies at roughly 5.5K. I've got a little bit of a boost there, and that's going to be a bell set to its widest curve, so that way it sounds more musical. In our low mid frequencies here, I've got a little bit of a cut there with a wide bell at roughly 850, 900 hertz or so. And then our low frequencies here at about 120 hertz, I've got just a nice gentle boost, and that's going to be a shelf. So that's going to do it for our EQ. And I was getting a little bit of volume here, so I just dialed this output back. So, and then the next one is going to be our SSL bus compressor. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. Yeah, listen to how well that just, it feels like it's just being glued together. And that's the magic here, the SSL bus compressor that I like. The only thing that I am going to change, though, is I am going to dial this mix back just a little bit. After those processing, I felt like I was getting a little too much saturation sounding. So let's see what this sounds like. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and... Yep. And then here's all of that off. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. And then on. How to be a father and a man. Yeah, so it just felt like everything just kind of cleaned up nicely, just in terms of tonality, and then as well as just making everything feel like it's together as one unit, which is really good. Okay, so now we're going to dive into just the drums. So I'm going to add, I do like the saturation on the drums. This can sound really nice. I'm going to change this to magnetic and colorful, and we'll see what this sounds like. I might change this later, though. Right beside me every step. That feels good there. I do want that back on. And then I'm going to add just a nice little EQ. For this one, I'm actually going to use the FabFilter EQ. It's very transparent. And I'm just going to kind of cut out some of the boxy, yucky sound. Maybe, add just a little bit of punch there in that low end and see if we can't get this drum kit to sound a little better. Yeah, listen to that right there. It sounds real plasticky, kind of cardboard like. So I'm just gonna bring some of that out, not a whole lot, or else it kind of will start sounding a little wonky. So, but here's what that sounds like now. Yeah, so it, just gives it a little more of a, intentional sounding to the kit. I do want to, get some of that kick drum a little bit, more brought out. And then this one here is for just a little bit more snap out of the snare drum. This is off. So yeah, you can just tell that it sounds a little more, I don't know, polished, I guess. I do really like that that snap coming out of that snare drum. I'm going to add a compressor now, just to get this. I'm going to use the SSL bus compressor again, just with this being, more of a gluey type of compressor. I think this will work really well on a drum kit. And that's also a really good way to bring up some more of that cymbals, where like if I was to go through and turn up the overheads, you also have all the extra elements in the drum kit that's also being boosted, where if I just throw this compressor on and it's over the whole kit, then what it's doing is kind of partially bringing up the softer elements, which is those, like when it's hitting the ride. You'll notice that kind of lifts up out of the mix a bit more. Yeah, I like that. And then I think the last thing that we're going to do is throw some reverb on there. This Space Designer is probably my favorite right now. And then we'll just kind of see, throw it into a room. Let's try a live chamber. Part of this is just trial and error, see what sounds good and doesn't. And then obviously you don't want it to, be a completely wet signal or a completely dry signal. You want to find a good happy balance there. So this is with the reverb all the way up and the dry signal all the way down. So that's not what we want, but we also don't want it just completely as a raw signal. So we're going to bring up this reverb. And so you can kind of hear it start to blend a little more there. So I'm going to dial this back. Yeah, just real subtle. But it just, kind of makes it seem more natural. All right, I think that's going to do it for the drums. So this is everything in the drum kit before and after. And after. So there's just a whole new life that they have, and that's exactly what we want to achieve. Let's go to our guitar section here, and this is going to be our bass guitar, our acoustics, all of our electrics. The pedal steel is going to be in there, but we're just going to do just a few things to just kind of clean it up a little bit. I'm going to throw the Fab Filter, the Pro Q4 on there. Right beside me. So right off the bat, I'm going to kind of bring these down just a little bit. So yeah, cleaned up some of the harshness right here, and then there was a couple of frequency spots here that I took out, and then just added just a little bit of warmth here, about 780 or so, and then that's all I'm going to do with the EQ on that. I feel like it sounds a lot better. We'll add a little bit of compression, and then for this one, since it's not super punchy sounding, if you will, I'm actually going to use the LA2A compressor. It's a real slow compressor, but I just want just a few dB of gain reduction here, nothing too crazy, just to kind of mold everything together. Yeah, just enough to, get it to mesh well. And then the keys, I don't think that I'm going to do anything on the keys bus right here. Just because these pluck synths, like those already sound exactly how I want them to. And then all I would really be doing is just on the piano tracks itself. So we're going to leave that alone for now. And then let's go to the vocals here. We definitely want to add some reverb. And then I'm going to add some reverb on the background vocals. I'm going to make those a little bit more prominent, just since they're not super forward in the mix, just make them feel real spacious. And kind of the mindset that you need to have when mixing a song is you've got three areas that you need to really pay attention to, and to try to balance your song in these three different directions. So first is vertical, and that's going to be with your volume faders. So you've got like your vocal, your drums, and everything else just kind of sits where it needs to here. And then you have your horizontal, and that's going to be all of your panning positions. So stuff you've got to the left, stuff you've got to the right, and then you could have some stuff anywhere in the middle. So like in this cases, we'll have like our background vocals. We've got some that are not quite all the way left and right, but also not all the way up the middle. And then the third thing that we want to do is we want to create a space, of how close it feels to the listener. So that's, three different directions, and we can use, a combination of all this to really, really use our stereo field. So, if you think that, mixing a song is just making sure all the volume faders are good, there's a lot more to think about it than that. You want to have your vertical right, you want to have your horizontal right, and then you want to have your depth correct. So we'll start with our vocal. Just add a little reverb here. And this is going to be applied to both the lead vocal and our background vocals here. And again, this Space Designer is probably my favorite. And then for vocals specifically, this Clear Stage, it's a medium reverb. I don't know. There's something about this one on a vocal that I think just sounds really good. So I'll solo this and let you have a listen. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. Yeah, so I don't know. There's something about it just seems really good. And then I'm also going to cut. This is EQing the reverb, not the vocal itself. So I'm going to pull some of the highs out right here. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. So that feels good. And then also maybe take out some of the lows. So this is kind of like a Abbey Road reverb technique. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of that same idea. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. That just sounds beautiful. So then I'll bring the dry signal all the way up, and then I'll just kind of blend this, We'll start with like -30 and see where we're at. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. So show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. So you can see, like if I was to have the dry signal all the way down and the reverb all the way up, listen to how far away that vocal sounds. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you. But on the opposite side, if I have the dry signal all the way up with no reverb, listen to how close it sounds. Right beside me every step of the way. And so if I bring up that reverb, about halfway, give or so, or give or take. Right beside of the way. Dial it back some more. I want to be just like you. The volume is still there, but it has the illusion that it's just a little further back, which is really nice. So that's going to be good for our reverb. Right beside me every step of the way. Might dial it back a little more. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. I'm going to use this bus compressor. I really love these for mix buses, just because they work so well. I mean, that's kind of why they became famous. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So can I take you along? Yeah, that'll work right there. All right, so now that we've done that, let's just take a listen to everything that we've done so far, just kind of before and after. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. So you can tell that's already a big difference, and we haven't even really done a whole lot here. I think what I am going to do, though, is actually change out this compressor. I'm going to use the from Universal Audio, the Distressor. This one has some really cool stuff in it that is you just can't beat. This is one of the most iconic compressors for a drum kit. You can use it on a whole lot of stuff too, but there's just something about a drum kit that's nice. So we'll leave it at 6-1 for now and just kind of dial this in. Right beside me every step. This is going to be our high pass filter. So, not a whole lot, but just enough to where that kick drum's not triggering that compressor a whole lot. And then this is going to be what type of distortion. So this just gives a little bit more saturation to the drum kit. Distortion 2 on like a house kit like this, I think works the best. But, that's all personal preference, so take that for what it's worth. Let me try this nuke real quick. Yeah, that's nice. Right beside me every step of the way. I want to be just like you, so show me what it is you do. How to be a father and a man. I want to teach my little bear to be a man. So So can I take you along? Ride beside me every step of the way. I wanna be just like you. So all right, I think that'll do. All right, so that's going to be it for our top-down mixing. So stay tuned for part number 3.